Similar themes are playing out in Pennsylvania, where Democratic Congressman Joe Sestak and former Republican Congressman Pat Toomey are also locked in a toss-up Senate race. Whoever wins will replace Arlen Specter, who lost to Sestak after switching parties last year. In their debate last week, each sought to paint the other as out of touch with the concerns of average Pennsylvanians. Sestak attempted to tie Toomey to conservatives linked to the Tea Party movement.
Palin, Toomey, O'Donnell, they all would like to overturn Roe versus Wade. I believe that those life decisions of a family should be made within the family. I don't think government should intervene. And I respect precedents on the Supreme Court. I think there's even more of an extreme taken by Congressman Toomey on such social issues than others.
And much as Rossi has done in Washington, Toomey tied Sestak to the Obama administration's economic policy.
That stimulus bill, Joe might be the only person in the United States who thinks that should have been $1 trillion, as he has said, because $800 billion of money we didn't have wasn't enough. Joe, that's a very extreme agenda, and it's out of step with Pennsylvania.
One clear sign of the importance of the state, President Obama will return there to campaign for Sestak this weekend. For more, we turn to James O'Toole, political editor for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and Joel Connolly, national correspondent and political columnist for the Seattle Post-Intelligencer. Welcome to you both. Jim O'Toole, let's start with you. What's going on in Pennsylvania, and why is it so close?
Well, I think that this campaign, both sides have tried to paint one another as the handmaiden of Wall Street, and that message has really gotten out a lot more from the Sestak campaign in recent weeks. Toomey had the upper hand, I think most people would agree, almost since the primary, but it's now a pretty close race according to the polls and the body language of the campaigns. President Obama's visit to Philadelphia for the second time in about 3 weeks is certainly an indication of that.
So who are the target voters for each side? Who are the Republicans targeting in this last week, and who are the Democrats going after?
Well, I think that the Democrats, and the Obama visit is an example of it, are working really hard right now to bring out their base, to bring a big turnout in Philadelphia. President Obama's numbers in Pennsylvania, a state he carried in a landslide a couple of years ago, are not good right now, but they are still, he's still popular in Philadelphia, and for Sestak, for the Democratic gubernatorial candidate, to have any chance, they've got to come out in big numbers there. Former Representative Toomey is going for the same cohort that Republicans are going for across the country, people who are upset about the economy, concerned that there's been too much money spent on bailouts, and people who just don't see a way out of this recession.
We just heard a little bit of Joe Sestak trying to link Mr. Toomey to the Tea Party movement. How much of a factor is that in this race, and did his effort in that debate actually help or hurt?
Well, I think on social issues, there's an opportunity for the Democrats, particularly in the socially liberal suburbs of Philadelphia, but it's not as much of an opportunity in this election cycle as maybe in others, because the economy is so much drowning out other issues. Representative Toomey is a social conservative, but his history and his current campaign are focused much more on kind of economic conservative issues, and in that his appeal dovetails with the message of the Tea Party.
And since President Obama did win there in 2008, but as you pointed out, isn't doing so well there right now in terms of popularity, when he comes back repeatedly, or Vice President Biden, of course, who's from Scranton, Pennsylvania, comes back repeatedly into the state, is that helping?
Well, it is a double-edged sword, as you suggest, but I think that the upside is much more important to the Democrats than the negative. I think the negative is already there. You're not going to pin Sestak's reputation closer to the administration's. I think he does not, although he asserts his political independence, he does not try to walk away from his votes for things like health care and the stimulus. So that insofar as President Obama can engender any enthusiasm in the big Democratic strongholds, that's something that's essential to Democratic candidates statewide.
Joel Connolly, in Washington State, we're talking about an incumbent